of Mr. Cabral of New Bedford, Markey of Dartmouth, and Xeros of Barnstable, will the members and employees please stand in a moment of silent tribute in the memory of the Very Reverend Archimandrite Constantine Phryden Bevis. Father Bevis was born on the island of Crete, Greece, and survived the starvation and bombing of Athens during the Nazi occupation of Greece during World War II. He became a Greek Orthodox priest in Danbury, Connecticut, then moved to New Bedford, Massachusetts in 1953. He was the priest and spiritual leader to the greater New Bedford Greek Orthodox community for nearly 60 years. He also faithfully guided the efforts to build a new church on Cross Road in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. The Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople awarded the title of Protosphyter to Father Bevis, the highest ranking of a married priest in the Greek Orthodox Church in 1976. He was an advocate for social justice, literacy, and learning, and numerous other community and charitable works. Sadly, Father Bevis passed away on March 9th, 2021, at the age of 94. Members and guests, please pay a silent tribute. Thank you.
We can start. I'm on my phone, so it's difficult to see who's here.
Right. Okay, so for attendance, I'm going to just go to, so Manette Law is absent, and I did speak with her. Arthur Akers. Present. Okay. Counselor Jakutis.
Present.
Carly McLean.
Present.
Betty Gonzalez cannot participate by video. Barbara Mann.
Here.
George Harvey.
Present.
And that is us. And me, Pam.
Hey, Pam.
Okay. Would you like me to share the screen for the agenda?
Yes.
Would that be helpful? Oh, shoot. I was ready. One moment.
Is Chris here from
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Okay. I need to make sure.
Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, and Joan from Friends of Lynn. Sorry, Joan. You are present as well. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so this is a redo from last week for the April meeting. I'll help since you're on the phone, Council Chairwoman.
Yeah.
Meet the new director, Chris Gomez Farrell.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning. Good morning.
Chris, would you like to just tell folks a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to be the new director for Lynn?
Yeah, my name is Chris Gomez Farewell. I grew up in Lynn my whole life. I went to all the public schools, Cobbett, Pickering, Lynn English. I got my associates at North Shore. Then I got my bachelor's at Salem State, and then I got my master's at Salem State. I've been working with the elder community since like 2005. I started working at Bridgewell. I worked as a driver, then I moved my way up. I worked in the day program and everything. Then I worked residentially. I worked as a service coordinator. and I'm passionate about working with the senior population. Like I said before, a lot of different times, my grandma's like my best friend, and yeah, and I try to treat everyone as I would treat my grandmother. And I'm excited to work here. I can't wait to find the senior center and start, putting together a lot of programs that the seniors would like, and getting out there and connecting all of us again, we can safely.
Chris. And Chris, do you want to let them know that what you've also been doing, looking for senior centers? I know the RFP is going out, but Chris has been out looking at different places for a senior center. He has been in touch with a few seniors. Just yesterday, I put him in touch with the senior who was having some difficulties, and Chris has been in contact with him and trying to help him out with some issues. So Chris is around. If anybody does have questions for him, or if they know any seniors that need anything besides going to PM, they can still call Chris. He is very active. And Chris, do you want to let him know if you're starting what you're looking to do for the summer, if possible?
Yeah, whenever we have more capabilities with the restrictions and everything, I want to do a cookout. I want to do, a lot of things that you guys did that the seniors liked. I would love to continue to do once we can do it in a safe manner. And I'm here for anyone. You can always call me, email me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm here for you guys. So whatever you guys, feel free to call me whenever. And I plan we'll see if we can do the cookout, if we can do a movie outdoors and just, safely spaced, and a lot of things once we start things opening up a little bit more. But I've looked at about, I'll say 7 to 8 spaces. Yeah. None of them really felt right yet, but as Diane said, the RFP is going out next week. So hopefully we'll get a couple bids, and then we'll be able to make a decision where we're going to go with that.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody have any questions for Chris?
Yes, Mary Joyner. What is your telephone number? Your contact information?
Yeah, my telephone number is 781 718
Yes.
1763.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions for Chris?
Well, I'd like to let him know that, hopefully the friends are here to help with him. If he needs to help coordinate anything, I'm sure that would be a possibility.
I appreciate that.
Chris, that Friends has been a big part of the senior center, helping, coordinate events and things like that. So I'm sure I'm not over speaking myself there, Joan. I hope.
I have already spoken with Chris.
Okay.
And my question to him is, does he have access to the database that would enable him to see exactly when we sent out the newsletter, the information?
Yeah, I contacted the company that runs the database, so I'm waiting to hear back from them, so I can see if we have to pay the subscription fee again or what's going on with that. So I'm just waiting for them to get back to me.
Okay. Because I just want you to know, Chris, that you might be aware of this, but the Friends have the postal. We do pay for the postage and that is due in July.
All right.
For the mailing of the newsletter.
That's the permit.
The permit. Thank you, Kay.
Okay. So the newsletter, the newsletter, is there who usually writes it, or who, like, I
Well,
really get that information.
That was the responsibility of the senior center director.
Okay. And then it went out monthly?
Yes.
Does anybody have a copy of an old newsletter just so we can give it to Chris so he basically has the format and how
I may have a copy, Mary Joyner. I'll look.
And
Okay.
I believe that the old ones are on the website.
Right,
Yes.
website too, yeah.
Right.
All right, so we'll just have Chris check out the website, the newsletter. I think he came in a tough position right now because we're in the middle of COVID. We don't have a senior center. Most new directors that get hired would be already in a facility where they have all their information. So I kind of feel bad for Chris right now because we hired him and there is no senior center. He doesn't have all the information probably that he needs. So we all need to pitch in a little and just help him the best we can get this started back up and watch him thrive. And some great ideas I know he has thrown out there, and I'm looking forward to hopefully these ideas taking place soon.
No, and I agree with you, Diana. I think that that's why I suggested that maybe the Friends could, help coordinate some things with him. I know that we've done that in the past. Joan has. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going this.
So that's something the Friends can reach out to.
College days was a good thing. So
Yeah, it's just that I've known Joan's been in the past. She's been very good at that, and we all can work together.
Okay.
Okay. Because I think
just going to jump in and ask everyone to please mute their video. Unless they're speaking, they should be on mute for the Zoom. It's incredibly distracting to have to hear everybody's background phone calls and text message alerts and conversations and occasionally TV. So please mute your Zoom. Bottom left corner, it says mute, and you'll know that it worked if there's a text crossing out.
I agree with it. I agree. There's too much going on.
And then we'll look at everything and I'll print it all out, make sure everything that's.
all right, who's going to tell me what my mouth is?
All right. So everyone here, Carly, either hit your bottom where it says mute, or you haven't turned TVs on because we hear the background noise. And this is being filmed on a local cable station.
I haven't ignored her. I just gave it to her when he was going to deal with it. I said, that's fine. She said, I would have just called her and told her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All you young people coming in, it's great because you can watch out for us oldies.
Yeah. And Diana, if you have created this Zoom, then you are able to mute people also.
Pam has Pam or Jim have access to it.
How everything was set up, and it was not set up correctly either. So I went through every single.
Pam,
Not
are you there?
Pam. No, I do not. It's
If somebody's hired, all of them, please automatically back in.
Attorney Lamanna, do you have access to this?
The ability to ask to mute. It sounds like someone has a TV on, to be honest with you.
And just only because I had just had a birthday, I went down. I'm like, what would have happened if I waited another 5 years? And be like, are you kidding me?
All right, can everyone turn off the TV, please? All right, let's try this again. So does anybody have any other questions for Chris right now?
I'm trying to, I do try to get them. Yeah, and I know that in 14, it was
Yeah, they can't turn it down. They got to shut it off.
Yep, somebody keeps talking in the background.
Whoever was doing it.
you had to know, you need to put X, Y, and Z on it. And so going to munis was actually great because it took a lot of the guesswork out of, oh, does somebody pay Medicare? Does they not pay? Like,
All right, everybody, let's try this one more time. Is everyone listening? We need to shut off the TV, and you need on the bottom left hand of your screen to hit your mute button because background noise is distracting during the meeting.
Trying to set up like a training room.
And we can hear TV still going. They're in an office.
It's the box that says City of Lynn Zoom, whoever that is. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're good.
Okay, so anybody else have any other questions for Chris? Okay, well, I guess we can go on to the next thing on the agenda, and that's the website. Council of Agent information is incorrect.
I'm not, I would have sent it, but I'm not sure who I send that over to who's in charge of the city website, I guess.
Not sure if we send it over to the clerk's office to have them update it. I can check and ask Janet who we send it to. Put that down there.
That's a gentleman by the name of Robert Wilson, is our webmaster, and I can shoot you, Pam, his contact information. But he has everything goes through him for any changes on websites and membership and the like.
Okay. All right. I can send him over all the stuff. Yep, that'll be great. Thank you.
All right. So next on the agenda is location for a new senior center, which Chris has been looking around, but the RFP doesn't go out till next week. Jim, do you want to speak on behalf of that?
Thank you, Councillor. So, as you all know, our original RFP went out last March, February, March, before the pandemic. This RFP is it drafted, and I urge anyone to read it, review it, give any comments or feedback. Two of the major changes from the prior RFP, it goes to a 10-year lease as opposed to a 5. A number of bidders, prospective bidders, expressed that they did not believe that the financial build-out was worth it to fall for a 5-year commitment. So in response to that feedback, it went to 10. It went to a 10-year lease. Just to let everyone know, the new elder affairs director is working directly under our public health director, Michelle Desmarais. One of the things that she would like included in this was a community room option, which I think dovetails a little bit with some of what was discussed back in late 19, early 20, was that should there be an opportunity to expand the senior center. So it does cast a wider net of 7,000, a minimum 7,000 square feet, up to 20,000 square feet. I know moving forward, speaking with the health director, public health director, Michelle Desmarais, once schools begin to reopen, we're probably going to lose some vaccine sites. And at this point, in all likelihood, it looks like booster shots are probably realistically going to be needed. And the city is, Lynn is one area, one city does not really have a community center anywhere in the city. Obviously, we didn't have a senior center, our own senior center that we manage. So this process will give us that we'll have our own space for a senior center. But to have additional space for either an expanded senior center to grow, or be a community center that could be a portion of the rental commercial space could be used to accommodate vaccines or cooling centers in the summer and the like. That there seemed to be a desire there, but that doesn't mean that it has to be 20,000 square feet. But that is a factor that plays into it. Obviously, the more square feet, the greater the cost, and as the responses come in, it'll be up to the council and the senior center to determine what the best fit is moving forward. The city council will be looking at this Tuesday, so absent any recommendations, any suggestions, any criticisms of the RFP as drafted, the hope is that it will be sent to the Central Register a week from tomorrow, and it will be advertised a week after that with a plan to be opened up in July 12th, I believe, is the date for the bids to be open to give prospective bidders an opportunity to put the bid together. I have been in contact with several property owners that they've expressed they do intend to put a bid in this. We will be aggressive. I appreciate Chris's efforts to locate potential sites, and we'll be reaching out to realtors and providing the RFP so that they can pass them along to property owners that they're aware of that may have available commercial space. So in an ideal world, we get as many responses as possible. So all the stakeholders, the seniors, the council on aging, the mayor, the city council, we can all, the CFO, Mike Donovan, to the extent that needs to be a build out, that they all can review it and make what everyone believes is the best in the best interest of the city for a new senior center moving forward.
And Jim, just to clarify, the COA board will have input on that before a contract is signed?
Oh, absolutely. And I encourage input now. If anyone has anything that they feel that they would like to be included, but there's no question that the Council of Aging will be part of interviews. It'll be part of, they'll be invited to walkthroughs for these sites. In all likelihood, whatever's selected would be a build out in some way. I think we're lucky enough that the third batch of COVID money that was approved in January does allow the city some financial flexibility to assist with the build out. But it'll be a collaborative effort, and the Council on Aging will be very much involved, and I'm sure that you folks will be reaching out to seniors to getting their input as well, as you always do.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Attorney Lamanna?
Diana, it's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi,
Hey.
I'm sorry to barge in on your meeting.
That's okay. Everyone, this is Michelle Desmarais, head of our public health department, and also Chris's boss.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to follow up on Attorney Lamanna, just so that you're, I don't have it big enough. Sorry, I'm on trying to work with two different computers. The senior center is near and dear to my heart. At my prior career, I was a nursing home administrator for quite some time. So the seniors, I always have it at first and foremost. Chris will be an excellent addition, and he's working very hard under difficult circumstances, I think, because, you know, there is not a located senior center, and, you know, we really can't go out to some of the senior buildings because of the constraint that we still have with COVID. I hope that will change maybe like by the end of May, and we can try to, you know, encourage I was thinking maybe like a meet and greet with a coffee hour or a, you know, like a bingo game. I always try to avoid bingo, but I know that people like that. But and also with the addition that I had asked for was, like sometimes we need a shelter space, whether it's, you know, heat loss in the winter or fires, or a cooling center in the summer when it's too hot and necessary. So some Mother Nature catastrophe. So that's why I had asked for the extra space. And I think that once the senior center is picked, and with Chris getting it up and running, it will be very successful in that. So that's my reasoning for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. And Michelle, we totally understand. One, we had done some surveys prior to leaving Silsby Street, and all of the folks on the COA can share what they've heard. one of the obstacles at Silsby Street for the Lynn Senior Center is the fact that the shelter in Lynn forces people out in the morning and there's really nowhere else for them to go. And the two populations just do not mix well. So that's our only concern with having, definitely do not want folks to be out on the street in inclement weather. That's not it. It's just that we feel, and we're willing to work with the city to find, especially with the funding coming from the federal government, a space for the two populations.
So I'm sorry, Pam. The shelter wouldn't really be open all the time. It would just be like in the emergencies. Like if there was a blizzard where somebody had lost power and they'd come. Or if it was too hot in the summer that we would have it open for that. But it wouldn't be open all the time. I understand what you're saying about the shelter and that we would go from there. But I guess I should try to use a different name other than a shelter for it. But it's not a shelter per se. It's just an extra space that we could have. Like if we needed to do like a flu clinic, or if somebody's, I do think that the COVID vaccines will still be necessary going forward, so that we could open up that as a room to use for that. I don't mean it as a shelter I understand about the populations mixing. I hear you.
Okay. So basically, Michelle, you're saying if there was a major fire, to place the people for a little while, you could bring them there, feed them, like you said, a cooling station. I see what you're saying. It's not going to be open all the time. It's more for an emergency.
And that's all. Yep. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Council.
You're welcome. Anybody have any questions for Michelle?
I do, Joyner. Okay. Who would be responsible for this? Because in the past, when we were down at the center, you can't really prevent someone from walking in. And they used to come in. It didn't bother me, but I know to some people it is bothersome. Would that be somewhere separate where someone's going to be manning that? Who would be manning that? Telling them,
So, Mary, it wouldn't be open all the time. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Michelle.
Thank you. It's not going to be open all the time. So it really wouldn't be available to people. But when it does need to be opened, I would be there opening it, my nurses and some of the, Yep.
I didn't know that because, sometimes you drift in and it may be your day that it's not going to be open. They may drift in. You know how you forget. Yeah. That's my question. Thank you.
Yep. If there's a problem, Chris will be there and he can always call me and I'm happy to run down wherever it may be located.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Are we saying that homeless people will be barred from entry to the senior center? Am I misunderstanding that?
So Kylie, I don't, that hasn't really been addressed to me yet, as this is my new venture too, I would say. So I'm not going to turn people away, but I think we have to come to a happy medium. And whether Chris is there, to watch it or however we have to do it. But I think we have to have some sort of a different setup than what was before at Silsby Street.
I hear that, but I would strongly caution the senior center against barring people based upon a perception that they are homeless, right? Like,
no,
if you're going to try
Carly, it's not because they were homeless. It's because that it was younger people that didn't have anywhere else to go.
Sure.
And there was some conflicts. And we are not saying that. We're saying that the folks that need certain services should get them no matter what their age is.
Right.
But Carly, there's also, I guess I'm a little bit confused because we're supposed to be looking for a senior center.
Yep.
For the elderly of Lynn. If there are elderly homeless people, fine. But if it's younger people, then the shelter should be able to offer them other options.
I totally agree. I guess what I was hearing wasn't entirely that. I understand that young people by nature shouldn't be participating in the senior center. It is for people of a certain age range and older. That's not what I was hearing. I was hearing like we want to try to keep the homeless people out. So there's seniors that are homeless and they're obviously welcome.
That's not what.
And what we want to do, many of us on here, not all, Carly, has been to address the root of the problem, like the root of Tent City, the root of folks not having anywhere to go during the day, which totally separate from the senior center that we're all working on. So, yeah, we want to make sure that people in the city get the services they need appropriately for what they need.
There's also, the shelter is also building out an additional space. So that should, the shelter is, the homeless should be the shelter's responsibility and not the senior centers.
I agree. All right. And have any other questions for Michelle? No? Okay. Well, we'll go on to next one, activities and services. So this is basically, I think Chris kind of answered some of this for us that he's looking to do. Chris, are you still here or did you have to leave?
I'm still here.
Okay. Did you want to just go over what you just told us, the activities and the different movie nights? You can just repeat it again if you want.
Yeah, I want to do a movie night where it'll be outdoors, something that will be socially distanced, and just get an activity out there so we can get the ball rolling a little bit. Once we can safely do it, and and that is actually safe, as long as like a cookout. I've seen a lot of other senior centers are going to be doing July 4th cookouts, so I'll see if we can do something maybe not as big as they've done it before, obviously, because the precautions we have to do, or something that, we can get together somewhat, and, it'll be nice for everyone just to see each other after such a long time. So I'll be planning those things. And then once some of the restrictions are lifted, then we'll obviously be able to do more.
All right. So you're looking at different pop-up activities in various locations through the city, wherever we can get, just to bring the seniors out, correct?
Yeah.
Great. Does anybody have any ideas or anything they want to share with Chris on that?
Sorry, Diana, me again.
Okay, that's fine.
I think that the activities, it would be nice to know, like, what we all know Stacy was great at her job. So what were some of the things that Stacy did that all of you might still want to continue? Are there, I say bingo, but I know that she had a lot of like line dancing kinds of things going. And I hope like with the, like a hairdresser or a barber or something in that effect. But I think like what other kind of activities that you can share with us so that we can, try to make it as pleasant as possible.
I think, Pam, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't tap dance lessons a big thing?
Tapping was there, a Zumba class. They played horse racing, dominoes. We had various trips because she would, come out and ask us, our ideas. That's some of the parts. And they're doing bingo some way via the phone. I don't know how that works because I know there's some people who are interested in doing bingo over the phone. And also, too, while I was there, I was taking classes to learn Spanish. I would like to see that come back.
I think, too, with especially in today's day and age, that we have found that computers and iPhones are important. And even though some seniors don't have any, but for those who do, like especially my mother, that you could, just make sure that they know how to work it properly so that they can, stay in touch with their family.
Yes. Well, at one time, they did have the young people from Lynn Tech come in and show you how to operate the device. if you were having trouble with it. They had
Awesome.
a room. Yeah, she did. Yeah, we did that.
Good.
Yeah. And I'm sure others who attend can, come up with what they would like to do and see done, after center. I'm willing to work with Chris or anyone, to help, because I really miss the fellowship.
Right. And that's the most important thing, I think, Mary, is just the socialization so that everybody can check on everybody.
Well, we set some ideas for Chris, and even if we wrote some ideas down and sent it to him, or just let him know different activities that seniors were looking for. And when he's able to do some pop-up events,
right,
he'll have access to speaking with seniors to see what they're interested in having in the new senior center or activities they can have. So,
can he place his email in the chat, his email, so we can send it to him? Email. Yeah. Thank you.
Are you gonna post it? I'll tell you if you want it.
we know
Sure.
we can probably give it to Pam when she does her emails.
Sure. Yeah.
We can email blast to everybody instead of everyone trying to write it down.
All right. Yeah. I just want to say, I feel like this is you guys and ladies senior center. So I'm open. I'm all ears. Whatever you guys like to do or want to do, I'm always open and ready to listen. And yeah, I'm ready. It's a shame we're in the pandemic right now, because I would love to be doing a lot of these things already. And yeah, but always feel free to contact me. If you have any ideas or thoughts. But yeah.
I just thought of something else. What about if you put a letter together introducing yourself? Is there any way that we have their addresses, and that way you can hear from other people who came to the center? I don't know if we ever did that.
That's a good
idea.
Well, I believe that's what Joan was saying at the beginning. The newsletter should start going back out, and we could add that in.
Yes, thank you, Pam. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Anybody have any more questions for Michelle or Chris? All right. So we're going to move on to the next is the COA budget. And I'm going to give that to Attorney Lamanna.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I believe that it's property taxes is next.
Oh, okay.
On.
Is that the next?
We add that in. We added Chris in.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So it's going to be Attorney Lamanna. Is there somebody here to discuss that today?
Yes, Chief Assessor.
Diana, Chris Gate is here. How are you?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good. Just so everyone knows, I'm Director of Assessing in the City of Lynn. I'm just going to do a quick rundown on some of the property senior exemptions we have in the city. So the two major ones we have are for those taxpayers 70 or older. We have, depending on income and assets, we have $175 per year or $500 per year off the tax bill. We also offer a trash fee reduction to those 69 or older. That's through the DPW, but that's a $45 exemption on the trash fee, which is $90 per single family. Then we also have a program for those who are 60 and older, which is a senior work off. What that is seniors can volunteer hours, and they're paid, or the taxes are reduced at what the minimum wage is for the amount of hours worked, up to $600. So they're able to, do things such as being a greeter at City Hall, cleaning up parks, things of that nature, and they're able to reduce the tax burden by $600 a year. They're able, if they do qualify for one of the other property exemptions, they can also do the senior work off. So, that can help. Due to COVID, the last year, that program has been on hold. we're hoping to get going once again. It's actually the rules and guidelines are established through the mayor's office, but we help implement the program here in the assessor's office. And then one of the other programs we have is a senior tax deferral. So that's for those residents 65 or older who meet certain income thresholds, and they may be struggling to pay their tax bill, but they decide to defer their taxes to the estate for down the road when they either sell their house or when they pass away. And they're able to, rather than getting out of the home that they've been in for, their lifetime, they're able to at least stay there. A lien is put against the property by the city, but it just gives the estate another option down the road. So those are kind of our main programs, more in line with the Veterans Office. So there may be some type of crossover between the seniors and veterans, but we do offer disabled veteran exemptions as well. And those range from $500 to the full tax bill. So, one of my goals here is to reach different subsections of the population, let them know what we have available in the office. I hope, I can work with Chris and get some of this information in people's hands, because there's, a lot of confusion on the ages, because, I just ran down, 4 different programs and they all have different age requirements. So, and, the incomes and assets, those change yearly based on cost of living adjustments set by the state. So it's always changing, but, we like to see as many seniors taking part of these programs as possible. That goes, also with, I don't want to exclude, we do have a blind exemption. So if someone's certified blind, that's a $500 exemption, and also widows. So if someone had lost their spouse and meets certain income guidelines, they are able to reduce their tax burden. So that's just a quick run through. All of our information is on the City of Lynn Assessor's website. We break it down every year, put the new income and asset restrictions on there. And, I always tell people to give us a call here, because it can get really confusing, and sometimes people think they may not be able to qualify, but, we may be able to go a different avenue based on what, the seniors' goals are, whether it's to stay in their home or whether they're just trying to, get some assistance. So I'll open up. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. The staff in the office, very well versed in these. Overall, we do about 600 exemptions a year. That includes, our veterans, elderly, blind, widows. So, whatever we can do to help people, that's kind of our goal. So if anyone has any questions, feel free.
Anybody have any questions for Chris to answer for them?
Chris, the first one you mentioned, the 70 and over, where it's either 175 or 500. What is that one called?
So we call them by the state statute. So it's a 17D exemption, which is the 175, and then a 41C, which is the 500. And the difference in those two are the income and assets. So if someone's making a certain amount of money, they may only qualify for the 175. But, for the 500 exemption, which is the 41C, those income, that's right around $32,000 a year that they would qualify, and it changes whether they're married or single. But those two major ones, 17D, 41C.
And then there's also the circuit breaker tax.
Mm-hmm. So that's the senior work off program. That's the 60 plus. And so that we follow circuit breaker guidelines on those.
But isn't there's a limited amount, right, that the city does for the work off, or does
up to $600?
I mean, the amount of people who can do it on the work off.
We haven't had to turn people away.
Okay.
We haven't got to that point.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions for Chris? No? All right. Chris, I want to say thank you for joining our meeting today just to go over some of these questions that we had, and we can pass some of the information on to the seniors. I
Great.
appreciate you taking time out of your day to come.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Now we're back at it.
All
Regular
right.
business.
Let's see, what time is it? All right. Can I just skip down, Pam, just because I have to get off in a few minutes because I have another Zoom meeting I have to be on. But can we go down to vacant seats? Just because I did speak to the mayor's office. They are in the process of doing some more interviews. So we're hoping in the next week or two, we should be hearing if when these open seats will be filled. So I did want to pass that information on. I did speak to the mayor's office the other day, and they are in the process of interviewing people. And then hopefully we can have a full board. Other than that, do you mind taking over while I hop off and go to this next one?
Okay.
All right, everyone. Sorry, I have to hop off, but Pam will take over, and everyone have a great day, and thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay. The last two things is the COA budget and also the Friends report. So Chris, I'm not sure if you've been able to look over the budget for the COA.
Very briefly, not in depth.
Okay. I was just wondering, maybe we should have a subcommittee to work with you on that before the June meeting.
Okay.
Is anybody interested in the budget? It would be the chairwoman, Jacutis, Chris.
Pam, it's Michelle. I will do it for this time, but once Chris gets settled, I think that I'll just be here for, just in case, but I think he'll be able to handle it once he gets settled. But I'll go over it this time.
Okay, thanks. So Kay Brown is on here too. She's the treasurer for the Friends. Does anybody from the COA board, anybody on the board want to be in like a subcommittee with Chris, Michelle, and Chairwoman Jacutis on the budget? Anyone?
I think it's Attorney Lamont. I think it's imperative that we bring in the CFO into the discussion here. At this point, there are ways to encumber money that won't be used before July 1st. And I spoke with the comptroller yesterday about this, and they're absolutely, they know that needs to be done, so the money doesn't get diverted back to the general fund. I can also say that no one knows what the rent's going to be. No one knows what the staffing needs are going to be. There is a commitment from both the mayor and the CFO that if the typical annual budget is insufficient, particularly in year one, that will be supplemented. But I think there's some mechanics that could be worked out internally with Michelle, Chris, the CFO. I'd be glad to take part in those meetings and some representatives of the Council on Aging to get some guidance from them, even locking in a rental amount, even if we don't know who the landlord is, so we don't lose the $170,000 or so the city budgeted for fiscal 2021. I know Chris has spoken with the state, and they're going to be wiring their portion of the budget shortly. So we want to make sure that we have use of that $370,000 that was going to be used for fiscal 2021 that wasn't because of COVID and GLIS and situation separation there.
Okay. Good points, Jim. So if Kay joins in, who else is going to do the budget with them?
Pam?
Yes, Barbara.
Well, I can help out some on that. I am kind of limited on my time, but I could help out wherever it's needed. I don't have, I had some expertise with, when I was working, with budgets. I dealt a lot with the city. And, but I just have one question, and this may have already been addressed, but at a previous time, but I don't remember. Have we completely ruled out building on a site rather than going into a 10-year thing that we're putting a lot of money into, and we may lose it at the end if we have to find someplace else? I don't know, Chris, if what your point is when you're looking for things. I know that a lot of places that might be available, but would be putting a lot of money into it. And maybe after the 10 years, we wouldn't have anything. We'd be starting from scratch. So I didn't know if this had been addressed before. It probably hasn't. I just didn't hear it.
Jim Lamont, if I may, the last RFP that went out was for 5 years, with a hope that in 5 years we would be in the financial situation to purchase our own building. Speaking with the CFO and the mayor's office and our budget team, it's very unlikely we'll be able to buy our own building even after 5 years. So that was the direction that financially that we're going, is at least 10 years, with a hope at the end of the 10 years that the city may be in a position to purchase its own senior center.
Okay, I didn't know money-wise whether it was even affordable, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, anything else? And thank those for willing to look over the numbers. Friends of Lynn report is next. Joan.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, due to the pandemic, there has been no activity, so there is no report from the Council on Aging. And I'd like to take this opportunity again to ask, since there are 4 vacant seats on this board, what happened initially to the people that were interviewed, and I include myself, that never any kind of letter that we were promised? We would be told that we were either accepted or rejected. So where does that stand right now, since you have 4 open seats on this board? Mr. Romano, somebody?
I think that's a question they need to direct to the mayor's office. The mayor's office is the appointing authority for members of this board. So I know that they go through multiple interviews, and I don't pretend to speak for the mayor's office, but as far as who is they're leaning toward in the next 4 openings. But I encourage you to reach out to the mayor's office to try to ascertain the answers to those questions.
I can tell you, Joan, that one of the people who was interviewed around your same time that you submitted contacted the mayor's office, and they told him that they're still active candidates. Mm-hmm.
So 2.5 years ago, mm-hmm. those interviews, and are they because if they have people they interviewed 2.5 years ago and they haven't reached out to them one way or another, they're interviewing more people.
I would, as I suggested to this person, I would say call the mayor's office and ask them where your spot is.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Chris, I'm here and I would like to meet with you because we do have ideas moving forward.
Yes, definitely. We can set up a meeting. I'm all yours whenever you're free to meet.
Thank you.
All right. So, Chris, is it a suggestion for Joan to give you a call and then you two can do a date? Okay.
Yeah.
Pick a date. Okay. And I know that at one of the last meetings, Jim, we talked about Betty Gonzalez, who does not have access to a device. I don't know if the city or maybe through the senior center funding, they could maybe get one. I don't know if the school has like an extra tablet or something that Betty could use. I believe that she does have access to internet, but she just doesn't have a device because she had to give hers to her grandson for school.
I'm certain that by the next meeting that we'd be able to provide one. I'm sure that if there were any other members that need it, please let me know. That there are a limited number of laptops that can be handed out to board members. We are short. I had to turn my laptop in for the school department, so it may be a situation where if that you'll have to come to City Hall the week of a meeting and return it. But one way or the other, there will be no reason why we won't be able to provide her a laptop to participate in the next meeting. I can promise you that.
Okay, I'll let Betty know. And who would she get a hold of? The mayor's office, Jim?
If she reached out to me, I could bring her down to the inspectional, the IT department, and coordinate whatever arrangements they have. If they have one that they feel that they can release on a permanent basis, I'm sure they would. But if I needed to borrow one for some depositions a week ago, they gave it to me a week and I returned it. So there are some floaters out there. There's no question that I'm aware of that we'll be able to work for the June meeting.
Okay. Okay.
Pam?
Yes.
Pam, this is Kay. I was reading your notes and I'd like, you said that the Friends pay for postage for the newsletter and we don't. We only pay for the permit.
Okay.
We do not pay for sending out the newsletter.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you for the correction.
Thank you.
All right. Just a permit. Okay, does anybody have any other additional news or comments?
Hi, it's Michelle again. I just want to offer to everybody to make sure that if you want to have a COVID vaccine, that you can contact us at City Hall and we're more than happy to work with you. And we are able to provide that for you. So if anybody needs a COVID vaccine, just let us know.
Any other news? Okay. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Phil, you cannot because you're with
Oh,
us.
okay.
We need a board member. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All right, I will send out the notes and thank you everybody for your attendance and participating.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Columbia Insurance Agency, serving the Lynn community for over 60
dishes in the sink. Tuesday's takeout boxes stinky. Change my shirt, doorbell rings. My girl's waiting there, looking forward to an evening in. She steps inside and her nose wrinkles up in her eyes get small. I get a pissed off lecture and a dirty look, and she leaves me there, standing in the hall. If I'm so hard to deal with, why does everybody wanna mess with me? I'm the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, still everyone's offended every time I speak. If I'm so hard to deal with, why does everybody wanna mess with me?
You're watching Lynn Community Television, Lynn's public and government access station.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today in this hearing. And thank you, Rep. Donato, for co-chairing. I want to acknowledge Chair Rodrigues and the Senate members who are watching, which includes, or on, which includes Senator Lewis, Barrett, Boncory, Senator Brady, Senator Feeney, Senator Feingold, Senator Goby, Senator Hines, Senator Jalen, Senator Lesser, Senator Keenan, Senator Moore, Senator Rush, Senator O'Connor, Senator Fatman, and Senator Tarr.
Okay. And I see that Representative Durand just joined us. Peter Durand. Okay.
I am here. Thank you.
So, Madam Secretary, once again, thank you for joining us, and welcome to our Ways and Means hearing. We're ready to hear what your outlook for fiscal 22 is all about.
Great. Thank you, Representative Donato, Senator Friedman, and members of the Joint Committee on Ways and Means. Thank you for having Health and Human Services Day 2, which represents 54% of the state budget. You have my written testimony, and as you know, I never read it. So I will just highlight some things and respond to your questions. It's always a privilege to be with you and to provide a high-level overview of Governor Baker's fiscal 22 House 1 budget for EOHHS. It's also a privilege to continue to serve as secretary. House 1 is a very high level. House 1 maintains the benefit, protects our most vulnerable residents, starts the path of reforming behavioral health care, continues to combat the opioid crisis, and continues the reforms of our nursing home industry, to mention just a few. And I know the agency heads will go into much greater detail with you. I provide the executive leadership to EOHHS and our agencies, and as chair a number of councils and commissions, and I will not read them all. I'm also privileged to work with a diverse and dedicated group of subject matter experts, many of whom you know. Our agency heads and staff reflect the richness that is our state's diversity, and I am proud of that. Out of 22,000 employees, 69% of our workforce are women, including 68% of our managers. 42% of our total workforce are people of color, including 25% of our managers. We will continue to promote diversity and inclusion throughout the Secretariat and work with our agencies to address structural racism and inequities. As we approach our new normal, whatever that means, House 1 focuses on stability and maintaining services during and beyond the pandemic, including our Health and Human Services safety net. And I need to spend a few minutes on Mass Health. Notably, the budget acknowledges the increases in enrollment in Mass Health and maintains comprehensive benefits. There are no reductions in benefits. In fact, we finally restore the